Hi all, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to go over some items from mainly from week 4 and then go over week 5. But I do want to mention one thing on the week 3 papers. So, and I guess this isn't specific to week 3, but it just in general with papers. A couple of things. Number one, when you see it says in the assignment reflection paper, what that really is the opportunity for you to, maybe provide a small base of knowledge from articles, whatever it is that you've read. But then I'm looking for you to reflect on that particular thing. So a reflection paper, for example, in this case, on the shift from patient-centered, from non-patient centered care, from faculty, not faculty, from physicians, spent a lot of time in academic medicine, from physician-centered care to patient-centered care. How do you feel that's impacting the health system? How do you feel that that is addressing patients as consumers? How is it addressing the marketing process, etc.? So when you see reflection paper, try not to write a research paper. You can have some background knowledge, and obviously if you're sharing info that's coming from an outside source, you want to cite that, and I'll talk about that in a second. But generally, when it says reflection paper, we have a couple of them in this course. I want your thoughts. I'm looking to see what we're looking at this point at critical thinking skills. So you've read this information. Now let's develop your own thought process based on the evidence. So you can't just go in there and say, well, I don't like patient-centered care. I don't think that's going to impact anything. I don't think it'll impact marketing, and that's all. By reading our material, it'll direct you in a certain way. I'm just looking for you to kind of cogently express that to me in a paper. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, please be sure that you are paraphrasing and citing properly. You do not want to get caught up in a situation where you have an academic integrity violation. So what does that mean? Well, if you take information, copy and paste it into your paper and don't change it at all, that's a huge academic integrity violation. With the exception of direct quotes. Direct quotes should really never be more than 10% of the total content of the paper, though. So you can always direct quote something, but you only should direct quote it if you can't really say it in your own words. So if you're spouting stats from a report, then you're not really going to be able to say those in your own words necessarily. So you're going to put quotation marks around it. You're going to cite it properly at the end of the quote. If you are looking to take information that you've read somewhere else and restate that in your own words, that's what's called paraphrasing. When you are paraphrasing, you can't just copy and paste into your document and change around a few words. You need to read the information, and the suggestion is read the information, walk away from that, maybe perhaps work on something else, and then come back and write it in your own words. And then at the end, you need to cite it. So let's say you're writing a report about something that you found in the textbook. So I have the textbook open. I'll just rattle something off. Talks about prior to the 1990s, information technology found in most healthcare organizations supported the administrative transactions unique to healthcare. So you can't state it like that. If you do, you're going to have to direct quote it. But maybe you would say something like, most healthcare organizations, or most hospitals, or whatever it is that you're talking about, used information technology in their financial dealings, or their with their patient billing operations, or just something that's not in the same words as what you find in the textbook. I found that a lot of people were cutting and pasting large blocks and then just changing around a few words. That is still plagiarism. You can't do that. So I generally, if I haven't talked to you about it before, you're probably okay. I usually give folks, a mulligan. But after that, it will be reported to the Academic Integrity Committee. And academic integrity violations, depending on their level, can result in academic probation, academic suspension, and expulsion from the university. So please be careful about that. You're going to see that across any papers in this program, and I would assume any papers that you may write outside of your classes in health service administration. So I just want to mention that. Week 4. So last week, our week was talking about information technology. So we use information technology for a lot of different reasons. Everything from something as simple as keeping the accounting books, keep bookkeeping for the organization, general ledger, patient financial transactions, our electronic health record, and then now we're seeing that grow to decision support systems, clinical decision support. It's getting much more broad. So information technology and some knowledge of that is crucial to any management position, not just those that work in IT. And actually, the more knowledge that you have of information technology, the better off you'll be. If you're a clinical manager, if you're a nurse manager, if you are the compliance officer, patient safety people, human resource people, no matter what role you fulfill, having some knowledge of information technology is crucial. So I'm looking forward. I haven't checked out your infographics yet, but I'm looking forward to checking them out. And hopefully you enjoyed doing the infographic. A lot of students really kind of like that assignment. So this week, week 5, we're actually looking at human resources. So this also tends to be a favorite of many folks in our program. They are seeking work eventually in human resources, some folks. So if that's the case, this will just give you a taste of human resources, but you'll get much more to come in the future. So, so we have our flip grid. We have a group case study assignment. The groups are assigned in here, obviously, and then also you have group tools in the classroom. I unfortunately can't see them in the same way as you, but there are tools in the classroom that you can use. There's discussion boards, there's blogs, there's chat things, there's all kinds of stuff in there. If you look under tools, you would find those tools, and it'll have your group that you're assigned to. Just like with the last group assignment, I think we already had one in this class. One person needs to assign, or one person needs to submit it. It'll submit to everyone's, it'll submit for the whole group. But also, I will be reminding everyone at the end of this week, you need to do your self and peer assessment again, like we did last time. So let's go over a few quiz questions. So quiz questions are from last week. First question, software applications in healthcare have traditionally been used to manage, and the options were physicians, healthcare expenses, clinical staff, clinical operations, and nurses. So as actually, and this is why I had the book open to that page, as the book tells us, IT in most organizations going back many years was traditionally used to manage anything that wasn't clinical. So, so billing operations, finance operations, those types of things the information management, information technology was used in those settings. Actually, the next quiz question, clinical folks have always been kind of suspicious of, at that time, suspicious of technology, and kind of the real jump in that is now we see organizations, and many of you work in organizations where you might see them using clinical decision support, and that was really that's a jump, and a lot of physicians and providers refuse to take part in clinical decision support, which are evidence-based, kind of like clinical pathways. It'll, you're able to enter in information as to what symptoms the patient's having, maybe some lab values, scans, etc. And then the computer will help you to decide what is the next step and what's the next action for that patient. And it's all based on existing research, etc. It's not just a computer algorithm, but it's that's just another example of how that side of the operation, the actual clinical side of the operation, is very slow to accept any technology at all, especially things like that. Electronic health records really only became prominent 5 years ago, maybe, not that long ago. So, so all of the application, or all of the elements of this question, all the wrong answers were all clinically related. Healthcare expenses is the one thing that was administrative. So that was our correct answer. Next question. Computer systems were not used initially by clinicians because early systems, and again, this is another of these questions I talked about in last week's Ed Puzzle, where sometimes you're looking for the best possible answer. In this case, some of the pieces of the answer were represented above, but the best possible answer included more than one. So the options were expensive, took more time to use, were cumbersome to use. The correct answer is took more time to use and were cumbersome to use. And then all were correct or none were correct. So, so our correct answer was that they took more time to use and were cumbersome. And that was the case. That's still the complaint by many clinicians, that they don't like electronic health records because they feel it takes more time and is cumbersome. So, and there are some electronic health records that are in fact cumbersome. So, but there are some that are really great and really free up time for providers. One of my best friends is actually a podiatrist, and he used to stay at the office dictating notes until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And now he's home by 5:30 to have dinner with his wife and their kids, because he's able to do his notes during the day as he sees patients. So, so it's really nice that they have that opportunity. Last question, which are potential benefits in having clinical data automated and able to be exchanged with other care settings? So again, this is one with multiple answers, but the correct answer is a combination of a couple of them. And again, that it kind of rings true. So as you see those questions, and you see, oh, well, a couple of these might be right, look for one of the answers that includes all of those, and then that's the most correct answer. So the correct answer is reduction in the number of repeat tests needed and ability to ability to more quickly identify relevant information about the patient. So that is our correct answer. The ones that weren't correct, lower cost to the patient, unfortunately not typically. Ability to offer insurance to all Americans, no, unfortunately not. And then obviously all correct, none incorrect. So, so our correct answer there was about reduction in the number of tests and ability to quickly identify information. So that's all I've got for this week. Please let me know if you have any questions or issues. Let me know if you have any questions about the groups, or it went out in the announcement and is in the week 5 classroom as well. And don't forget, if you want to just go ahead, we're using the same self-and peer assessment as we did before. When you're complete with your work, feel free to send that in via email to me. I will send a reminder out at the end of the week as well. So that's all I got. Have a good week.